everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kim and today I am doing another speed build. This one is a Steampunk Museum, which is exactly what I've called it. Now I started out thinking I'm going to do a castle build and I was going to do a residential castle, but as I kind of got the whole build and shape in place, I thought no, I'm actually going to turn this into a steampunk castle because I've been dying to do something steampunk wise for a while, but it's quite difficult to decide what to create in a steampunk theme. But I thought, no, I'm just going to do a castle. That would be completely different. So it was kind of, this idea was done as I was building, if that makes sense. Now, I just have to explain. Halfway through this video, you're going to think, what on earth is going on? I appear in the top left-hand screen in a tiny little box. And towards the end of the video, you will see me appear in a bigger box with some overlays. And that's because halfway through this build, I decided to stream it to Twitch and do my first ever stream. And I thought it'd be a really good idea doing such a big build to be able to stream to Twitch, and then people could obviously log on and see how I build my builds. And I was very fortunate to have the lovely Chrissy York join us on the stream, where she suggested it would be a good idea to transform this into a museum. It was her idea, because the more I built and the more detail I added, it just didn't look like it would ever work out as a residential lot. So I thought, what a fantastic idea. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is the final look at the moment at the end of this video, but I am going to transform it and obviously create some touristy areas. There may be some changes to the exterior, but if there is, I will include that in the next video, which will be part 2, the interior. So as per usual, I have had nothing but nightmares over the last couple of days. I decided to obviously stream to Twitch, and with that I had a nightmare with my software. I needed to change from Shadow Play to OBS, and basically I wanted to do my first Let's Play and I wanted to get it out just after the weekend, but I recorded 45 minutes worth on Monday night, came to edit it to find that there was an issue with Shadow Play, my microphone and my webcam. It was just not having it. So I thought, great, I'm going to have to do it all again. So I then decided to use OBS, finally did all that, only for that to not work and something go wrong with that, and it was kind of going on like that. So in the end, I finally did the 3rd recording last night, by which point all my Sims were like aged up and everything. No, they weren't really, but some of the aspirations were over halfway through completed, because obviously I was saving as I was going, because I was thinking I don't want to, lose anything. So that was a bit unfortunate. But I got there in the end, that's the main thing. Now, my first Let's Play, when I went back over and I finally finished the video, you can hear my keyboard really loud. And I did actually say in the video, if you can hear it and if it's an issue, leave a comment in the description box and I will see what I can do. So now my lovely husband has provided me with a second keyboard, which is so much more quieter than mine, and so I've got a quiet keyboard I can use to record my Let's Plays. So that's not going to be something that'll be happening again. And obviously with speed builds you don't hear it anyway, you just hear me waffling on like this. Now if you can hear my husband in the background at the moment, he's actually playing a game and he's streaming as well. So if you can hear him hammering on the keyboard, that's what it is. It's not me, it's his. But anyway, back to this build. I really enjoyed making this build. It was quite different. I wanted to make kind of the castle on a split level. So if you can see these brown bits around the bottom, I wanted to sort of create this effect that the castle was half built on the ground floor and then it sort of dropped down at the front into the basement. And I'm not really sure whether it worked, if I'm honest. I don't know if, I think maybe I shouldn't have cut it so fine against the wall. I should maybe have left a little bit of earth out. But I quite like the way that it turned out in the end, and I do cover up quite a bit of the outside with landscaping anyway, so, you know, I don't think it's a massive thing if I haven't got it quite right. So with the exterior, I wanted to sort of add lots of clocks, obviously lots of pipes, metal, you name it. I've put all sorts on the exterior, and I wanted to create like this swampy area around the outside, because initially it was going to be residential, then it was going to be a museum, but it was only a museum at the last minute. So as I was creating it, I was just sort of creating the steampunk effect, but I wanted to sort of add lots of rocks and swampy areas and make it kind of look like people were, it was a really old area, possibly derelict, where people were just fly tipping their rubbish. So you've got lots of like random objects placed in these little swamps, lots of metal objects, and this kind of thought of a derelict warehouse that still has lots of old machinery kind of sprung to mind as I was building it, and I thought it'd be quite good to have a similar effect. But then obviously last minute it was like, let's change it to a museum. So now I may need to make some adjustments to the exterior to make it look quite touristy as well. Obviously not ruin the way that it looks now, but obviously make little pockets where, you know, it's a little bit more modern because tourists are passing through, and maybe fenced off areas as well. But any changes that I make to the exterior, I will feature in the second video as well when I come to do the interior, so that you can see exactly how I got the finished look. So I hope you all had a lovely weekend. Mine was quite eventful. Now I'll tell you why mine was eventful. If anyone follows me on Twitter, you will probably know already that I was invited to a birthday party with the local mums in my area from my children's schools. It was one of the mums' birthdays. It was a big birthday, and she invited me to go. Now, it's kind of the social situation is probably my kind of nightmare. You know, I'm good at social situations if I've had a drink. This is awful. I'm not saying that anybody should go out and do anything irresponsible like that. But to be honest, bottom line, that's exactly what I was and exactly what I did. I think I was getting really worked up about this, going to this sort of event, and the reason why was because a lot of them already know one another, and a lot of them have sort of grown up in this area and are like best friends. So I really didn't want to go, to be honest. I was really sort of like, I'd rather stay at home and hide. But the particular person whose birthday it was, I couldn't let her down. She's a really lovely person, and I just felt like I had to be there, had to go. So my way of dealing with it was, let's have a bit of a drink before I go. That way, I'll talk non-stop, the night will fly by, and that will be it. Job's a good un. So I started to have a drink, but by the time I got there, I'd actually already had a bottle of wine, and I was absolutely like merry as anything. Now bear in mind, I've not long had my daughter. She's nearly 5 months old now, and I've not actually drank any sort of alcohol for a really long time. I'm not a big drinker anyway. If I drink properly, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a massive drinker anyway. So I wasn't really careful about the whole situation. I probably should have gone a little bit steadier than what I did. So the night itself was actually really good. We had a really good time, an absolute laugh. And but towards the end of the night, I just remember stood speaking to this woman who was one of the mums at the school, and me just cutting her off halfway through and being like, "I'm sorry, I've got to go. I'm going home. Bye." I was so mortified when I woke up in the morning. I thought, that poor woman. I think we were just talking about our kids and school and everything was going great. And then I just decided somewhere in my mind that enough was enough and I was ready for bed. So I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to find that woman on Monday and just apologise and say how sorry I am that I was so rude. And I did. I hung my head in shame. I walked into school. I did see her and I apologised. But luckily I wasn't on my own. Everybody got quite merry and quite drunk, and it was a really brilliant night. And bottom line, I'm really, really glad that I went, because I think social situations like that, you know, I do suffer from anxiety, and sometimes it's, you know, it can be quite bad really, and other times it just doesn't affect me at all. But definitely this was completely out of my comfort zone to go. But I'm really glad that I went, because, you know, I got to be there for a friend. And the best thing about it was, the next day she'd actually messaged me and she said, I just want to say that you made my night by coming. And I just thought, I'm so glad I went, because obviously that never would have happened if I didn't go. So I was like, yes, go me. But I wasn't actually the day after. The day after I was very, very ill. I couldn't actually move off the sofa. I wanted to do my Let's Play that night and get it all out on the Sunday night, and I just couldn't move. It took me about an hour to eat any form of food, and luckily my husband took 2 of our children out and they went and had a great time at like a local play area. But I couldn't move off the sofa, so I had my youngest and my eldest at home with me, and yeah, I was really feeling sorry for myself, and I thought, oh, I never want to drink again. But like I say, ordinarily I wouldn't have done something so stupid if it wasn't for the fact that I was just so nervous about going, which was daft really, because in the end, you know, I got to meet and get to know people a little bit better that I see every day, and it was just worth it in the end. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's just been such a busy week. So I've got lots of things in mind for the channel. I think I'm going to start a Black Widow challenge. I need to have a little bit of a closer look and a look into the Drifter challenge, because I've heard that's a really good one as well. But I'm just thinking, with it being so new, the Let's Plays being new, I mean, speed builds is something that I'm always going to do, but I don't actually know whether anyone will really like the Let's Plays, and I don't want to be creating content that people would rather not see, or, you know, they'd rather see on a different channel. I don't know, that's probably me worrying a little bit too much, but I thought if I just do some sort of smaller challenges to start with, and then I can see whether people like it, and if they do, then obviously I can venture a little bit more into that. But without a doubt, I'm always going to be doing speed builds, there's no doubt about that. I'm also going to be, I think, streaming to Twitch a little bit more often. The only thing at the moment is I can't guarantee when I'm doing that at the minute, but I hope to set up a schedule, and then as soon as I have, I can let you all know. But for the time being, I'm just sort of like hiding in the background, like, how stupid's that? Right, I'm going to stream to Twitch. Let's hope no one sees me. That's so me. I've also got to take into consideration that obviously I do have my family at home, and me and my husband share a joint desk, and we're both gamers really. We're both heavily into PCs and games and things like that. So obviously if I am doing any kind of live streaming or even recordings just like this, he's next to me and I can't, bless him, I can't have him like sat in silence all night either. So I'm going to be a little bit, you know, I need to sort out a decent schedule that sort of suits myself, the viewers, and obviously my dear husband. So I'm coming towards the end of this build now, and I'm doing all of this landscaping. I tried to pick the most miserable trees going and the most miserable sort of bushes, and I wanted it to obviously look quite drab and old and derelict, and I've obviously used ivy as well up the sides. I didn't go too mad on the ivy. I was going to, because you know how I love ivy, but I didn't. I used a little bit on the outside and a little bit up the sides here. The only thing which you will just see there is that because I've created this level in the basement, I can't actually use the, I forget what they're called now, but the bits that go in the middle of the house all around the outside. You can't use that on the bottom level. So you can actually see these slight cracks there. You can see one in the pillar to the left, which is just a little bit naff. I was a bit disappointed with that, but I suppose that's just because of the type of design that I've gone for, with it, you know, being through from the basement up to ground level. I know what I'm on about anyway, even if you don't, but I have tried to mask as much of that as I can anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But yeah, so I'm going on the inside a little bit here, because I did sort of panic and think, oh, I do just need to check the inside and make sure that, you know, when you're using turrets like this, they're just such an awful shape when you come to do the interior, especially the way that I place them. I'm sure everybody else gets on just fine. It's just me that has like a nightmare with them. I think I should probably be a little bit more strategic about how I do my builds, but they're not planned like that. You know, I don't think, right, I'm going to use this sort of floor plan or anything like that. It's just, I look at something and I have a vision, if that makes sense. I know what I want it to look like, but I never really know where to start. So I just add things and build things like layers. But that's all well and good until you come to do the interior and you're like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. So all you can see on the outside now, and all I'm doing is really just going round and filling up all of this space. I add lots of rocks to the outside, trees, shrubs, junk, you name it. And it's just a case of just building it and building it up. I have also used all of the packs for this build. I know sometimes I do try to use sort of base game or just certain packs with my builds, but this one was, with it being steampunk, I just wanted to make it, I wanted to use all the items I had available as well. So yeah, let me know what you think about potential challenges on the channel. I don't know whether to make them or not. I think it's probably, I feel a bit nervous about it because when I started the channel, I didn't have any intentions of doing sort of let's plays. I really was just going to do speed builds, and there wasn't actually a lot of thought process in me starting YouTube. It wasn't something I planned out and thought, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I just did it one day because I thought, well, I'm creating these builds. They have quite a few downloads on the gallery. Maybe it might be nice for people to see, you know, how I build it. You know, there's got to be somebody interested out there who might, you know, want to watch. So now I'm sort of venturing into Let's Plays. Don't get me wrong, I'm so excited about it because I do love playing The Sims as well. I do go through phases where sometimes I play lots of it and don't really build, and then other times I just build alone. But I haven't actually played the game in such a long time, and it's really nice and refreshing to be able to do a Let's Play because it gives me the opportunity to obviously, you know, play the game like everybody else, I suppose. But yeah, a little bit nervous about these Let's Plays, so you know, let me know if it is something you want to see on this channel or whether you would just prefer to see speed builds, because, you know, I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste mine either. I'm exhausted. But I am having a lot of fun with everything that I'm doing. I quite like the idea of it being a diverse channel, and I know there's a lot of YouTubers that do a bit of everything, and I don't mind doing that either. But obviously you guys come first and you're the people that I'm doing this for, so yeah, you let me know what you think. So you can see my little box up in the corner here where this is my Twitch overlay. If you are interested in following me on Twitch, I am now actually going to leave a link in the description box below. Like I say, I haven't got a schedule yet, but as soon as I do, I will let you know on my next video. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Please like and share this video if you can. That would be a huge help for me in growing the channel. But we're on to screenshots now. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, please leave me a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.